It's 3:24 on a special live local hour of the Clark Howard Show on Talk Radio 850. We're broadcasting from the Coastal Federal Credit Union, and although I gave the phone number earlier, right now we're going to take questions here at Coastal Federal. And who do we have with the first question today?
We have Clinton right here. Clinton, what's your question?
My question is, where in websites of where I'm going overseas, and I'd like to know about credit unions that I could withdraw my money when I go overseas.
When you go overseas on vacation,
ATMs.
Yeah, what you do is whatever credit union, you are a member of a credit union?
Yes.
Yeah, the credit union will be able to tell you what ATMs they have a correspondent relationship with in whatever country you're going in. Just as with a credit union, there are co-ops for ATMs in the United States, where if you're traveling somewhere, you can withdraw money fee-free if you go to those particular credit union networks. Similar kind of thing exists both for banks and credit unions overseas. But I have a special warning for anybody who is a customer of one of the big banks, that if you use an ATM overseas that is not one that's a member ATM, typically you'll pay $10 per withdrawal in junk fees using that ATM. So the whole thing is know before you go and know what the rules are and the fees are for the bank or credit union you're a member of, so you don't get ripped off on fees. I should mention also some of the stock brokerages offer ATM cards that you can use overseas at any ATM fee-free. Yes, go right ahead, George.
I have a question regarding a mutual fund. My son is 44 years old. When he was 1, we deposited $1,000 in that account and have never taken any money out. It is now worth close to $60,000.
Wait. Did all of you hear that? Okay, I need to repeat that for people here at the broadcast site at Coastal Federal. All right, so he put $1,000 in a mutual fund. George did when his son was born, or 1 year old?
Yes.
Today he's 44. And repeat how much that account is worth today. $1,000, never anything else deposited.
Right.
44 years later.
$58,000.
How much is it worth? $58,000?
Yes.
All right.
And my question to you is, at some point in time when he has to take some of this or will use it for his retirement, it's just a regular investment account. How will we ever determine cost basis?
Well, it's actually fairly easy because your cost basis is as close to zero as it could be. I mean, your cost basis is almost zero. So essentially, whatever you would sell today has a cost basis of about 2%. So most of it will be subject to capital gains tax. The beauty is your son's maximum tax is likely to be 10 or 15% on whatever he would sell. And in a case like this where you were patient and allowed 44 years of growth of that money, and you have this enormous amount of profit, don't sweat the tax. Because it's a good problem to have. How old is your son? I mean, you said how much money does your 44-year-old make? That's what I meant to ask.
He's in the construction business, so he hasn't been doing that well in the last several years. But I just want to say something quick. I am a disciple of yours. I have no debt. My house is paid for, and my car is 13 years old.
That is really, really great. And as for your son, who's not having the great financial success you are right now, whatever shares he would sell in a year that his income is extra low, his capital gains tax rate may be zero, and he would owe no tax on selling a portion of that fund. That's a good tax rate, isn't it? You're listening to a special edition of the Clark Howard Show, live and local on Talk Radio 850. We are at Coastal Federal Credit Union. Love for you to come by and see me this hour during our special broadcast. If you have a question for me, we can talk straight ahead at 919-860-9783. And, of course, your questions in person here at Coastal Federal Credit Union. It's 3:35 this Thursday afternoon, and you're listening to a live local hour of the Clark Howard Show. It is my honor and pleasure to be with you today in Raleigh. And right now, where am I? Well, I'm at the Coastal Federal Credit Union, as you're listening on Talk Radio 850. If you're listening, you have a question you'd like to ask me this hour, 919-860-9783. That's 919-860-9783, or in person here at Coastal Federal. And we now have a question right here from a gentleman wearing a brand name jacket. I hope you found that used somewhere.
I actually got it for free.
Well, free, that's a good price. How hard did you have to hit the person to take their jacket? Go right ahead, please. Sorry.
Clark, I've got some rental properties, residential rental properties that are paid for, and I'm wondering if I should set up an LLC to get those out of my personal name.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with this, I call it the success tax. That is, you develop more assets, and particularly people with rental properties, as you have more and more what they refer to as uncovered assets, where you own them free and clear. An LLC, a limited liability company or corporation, whichever the C stands for in North Carolina, you do an LLC to protect everything else you have. But here's the part that's going to make your head spin. If you do it properly, you do an LLC, what's known as a single issue LLC, where each rental property is its own LLC. There are real estate lawyers that this is one of the things they do is set up single issue LLCs for real estate. The beauty is that if something ugly happened, it only affects you on that one property and leaves the rest of everything you've done by working to live a life that's a debt-free life. It protects everything you've worked years and years to build up. Now, the only other way you can really do it is to buy a very large umbrella insurance policy. Do you have an umbrella policy, too?
I do. It's $1 million. But
That's, by today's standards, that's not considered to be very large, because one thing somebody can blow right through $1 million if they hire the right person from television. So doing either the LLC or boosting your umbrella, or both, because umbrellas, if you're not familiar with umbrellas, what happens is, let's say you have a wreck, and it's your fault, and somebody gets hurt, and they come after you, and they have something that the court decides are lifelong injuries. It can wipe out everything you have. So an umbrella policy sits on top of your liability insurance on your car or your home and gives you an overall umbrella of coverage. And as you step up in millions, they get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Either would be a decent strategy for you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for what you do, by the way.
Certainly. And who's next? Hi.
Hi. Timeshares. We have 4 paid-for timeshares.
I don't want any of them.
Should we? I know. Should we continue to pay the maintenance fee and enjoy the vacation, or should we get rid of them, or how do you get rid of them?
You can't get rid of timeshares really right now. They're too hard to get rid of. The market is broken, and if you have been enjoying using those 4 timeshares, that's the perfect answer, is keep enjoying 4 weeks of vacation a year. You know, you paid real money for these things. You can't get real money for them, but you can take real vacations that bring you joy in your life. Just enjoy them. Now, there is a website, forget the name of it. It's a beta website where people are listing timeshares for sale, and you only pay if yours sells. And I've got it on clarkhoward.com. It's a cutesy name. I cannot remember what it is right at this moment while I'm standing here.
We'll look at clarkhoward.com.
That's right. That's the place to look.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You enjoy them. And we have another question here at Coastal Federal Credit Union.
And this is Jeannie.
Hi, Jeannie.
Hi. I wanted to ask how the Republic wireless phone cell phone compares with the Freedom Pop.
Okay. That is a great question, and you are a frequent listener if you know to ask that question.
All day.
Okay. So the the Republic Wireless this company started with a beta, a test, a couple of years ago, and they had really crummy cell phones as part of the test. I can tell you because I tried both of the ones they've had prior, and they were really awful phones. But they have a new phone coming out next month that is a top drawer Android that will be $299 to buy non-contract. Then with Republic, you'll be able to have, as I mentioned, the $10 unlimited call and text or $25 unlimited call, text, and web. It operates using a very similar technology to Freedom Pop. They both operate on the backbone of the Sprint network. They both use internet as a way to lower the cost of providing service to you. But Freedom Pop is very unusual. Now, wait till you hear this. Freedom Pop only sells reconditioned phones. They sell reconditioned Androids for $99. And then your service, if you are a very light volume user of a smartphone, your monthly bill is a big fat zero. They do not charge you. For $0 per month, you can use up to 200 calling minutes a month, 500 text messages, and half a gig of data, which is a moderate volume user of data, and you pay nothing. Why do they do that? It's based on this whole concept that's been so much a part of apps on cell phones, the freemium business model, that they hope that you'll get hooked, and you'll then say, you know what? I want to be able to talk whenever I want. Unlimited talk and text, $10 a month, just like Republic. You want a lot of data? Well, that's $18 a month. So before you know it, you've gone from free to $28 a month. So, well, $28 for a smartphone still isn't a lot of money. If you figure people with Verizon and AT&T are paying, in many cases, triple digits. So either one gets you to the same place, which is a much lower cost for cell phone service than where you are now.
Thank you.
Oh,
very
and
much.
by the way, the website I couldn't remember, thank you, Kim, is vacatia.com. And Karen is with us. Karen has made that phone call to Talk Radio 850 for this special live local hour of the Clark Howard Show, coming to you from Coastal Federal Credit Union. And I should point out that every person who's here today gets to go in the armored car that's parked out here right now and take unlimited sums of cash. That's why it's here, because we at Talk Radio 850 want to make sure you go home happy today. Just kidding. But we have Karen on the phone.
I'm calling about the shutdown of the government on the debt ceiling.
Yes.
If they do not extend that, would that affect Social Security, or does that the Social Security, do they have enough money to pay regardless of what happens with the debt ceiling?
All right. So what floor of a home do you live on?
What?
What floor of a home do you live on? Because I want to be careful how I answer this question.
The fourth floor.
The fourth floor. Your money's going to be just fine.
Okay.
Okay, so let me give you the real answer, okay?
All right.
If the Congress does not raise the debt ceiling, there's more obligations of the federal government immediately than the federal government can afford. For reimbursements to medical providers, for Medicare, Medicaid, there's more obligations when you throw in Social Security. There's too many obligations when you consider the bonds that come due. That's why it's virtually impossible for the feds to figure out who to pay and how to pay. And that's why it's almost to the point of unthinkable that the debt limit will not be raised. But if you want to make sure that the debt limit will be raised, you don't pay people their Social Security. I can guarantee you that I'm about 99.99% certain that the debt limit will be raised, people's Social Security will be fine, that the bonds will be paid. But I want you to think about the implications of your question, Karen. The very fact that people are having to ask, is my Social Security going to be okay, Are we going to pay the debt obligations of the United States? Are we going to pay our bills that we have already incurred? Tells you how broken Washington is, because it never should have gotten to a point that there's worry that you would have, and I would ask you what floor of a building you live on. But do not fret. Your Social Security will be there for you. Did I make you feel better? I hope I did. She's gone, so I hope that means she's still on the 4th floor of her building.
Thank you.
Well, oh, you are here. Yay. We were so worried about you for a second. That's funny. And we have a question here at Coastal Federal. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie.
Hi. I know it's not a good thing to do anymore, and I'm trying to get away from bundling my services at home. Internet, I still have a house phone and cable. Some of the newer providers do not have service in my neighborhood yet. Which way should I go with this to save money?
Okay, so you're in the triple play. I need to start with your home phone, which is where I always start. How often do you pick up that home phone?
A lot. I have a cell, but I still like the home phone.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
It's a cordless
all right.
thing, but I just like it. I just like that better.
All right, I'm going to give you a couple of options for that because I want to get you out of that bundle, because bundles are false economics. They start off seeming so great. They get you hooked, they get you handcuffed, and then somehow that price that they got you in, that's gone now, isn't it?
Yes, and they inch you back up once they give you a good deal, and I'm tired of having to call and
how much are you at now for your triple play?
Just got a bill today. I think it was about $135, which is
$135.
That's terrible.
That is bad. Okay, so we're going to take each part separate for a second. The phone. There's something they sell at Walmart called Straight Talk Home Phone that does not require an internet connection, no contract, and is $15 a month for unlimited local and long-distance calling, caller ID, call waiting, every call feature you could think of, $15 a month. It's got to be cheaper even than what you're getting in the bundle, and that does not require an internet connection. Then there's something called UMA that does require an internet connection, OOMA, OOMA.com. If you're a Costco member, you can walk in and you can buy an UMA unit for $129 when it's not on special. And it becomes what Consumer Reports says is the best phone service in America, bar none. You get all the calling features, all that, and you pay government pass-throughs of about $4 a month. That's it. Once you buy the unit, it's $4 a month. You can port your number from whatever triple play you're in. You can port the number over to the UMA or to the Straight Talk home phone.
Number for business.
Yeah, so you can keep that number. So that's no problem.
I'm not a great internet person. I'm not real good with all
Then
this.
you might prefer the Straight Talk home phone.
Okay.
And the Straight Talk home phone, if you go to straighttalk.com, they'll tell you how robust the service will be at your street address.
Great.
On the TV, you said you're tired of calling. I want you to play the phone company against the cable company. You got both of them, right, for both internet and television at your address? Mm-hmm. Make them work for your business.
Well, it's a bundle with one company, all three of them.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're going to be unbundled now. You're going to be
Oh, I see. Okay.
So now you call, are you with the cable company or the phone company right now?
Cable.
All right, so now you call the phone company. By the way, anybody here, you're with the phone company. I want you to go home and call the cable company. And you put them in competition with each other.
Okay.
If you want the absolute cheapest, but you still want pay TV, how much TV you watch?
Not a whole lot, and I just basically stick to a light cable service and local stations.
Well, if you're into local stations, you can go to a website called antennaweb.org. You can see what kind of antenna you could go buy, maybe for as little as $10, that'll pull in local channels. And here's a little secret. You get a better signal on your local channels with a little antenna than you do through the cable or satellite because the signal's not compressed. You get a full-bore high def that's so much more beautiful than you get from cable or satellite. And then you pay $0 per month.
I bought one at, I think it was Radio Shack 2 or 3 years ago, but I couldn't get it to work.
Well, that's why you go to antennaweb.org.
Okay.
See what, based on where you live in Raleigh, how fancy an antenna you need to get those local channels.
Okay.
So then we kill off that bill, and then all you're left with is the phone thing, whichever you do, and your internet service. And both the phone company tends to sell internet if you ask at about $20 a month. Cable company tends to sell it about $30 a month, but you got to ask. But I want to get $100 back in your pocket, okay?
That'd be great.
All right.
That'd be great. Thank you.
You get it done, okay?
I'll try.
So it's your money. And it's also 3:51, which means I'm late for a break here on Talk Radio 850. You're listening and in the midst of a live local hour coming to you from Coastal Federal Credit Union. And I want to tell you what a pleasure it's been having all of you here today. We have one more live local segment straight ahead on the Clark Howard Show. It's 3:56 this Thursday afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed this live local hour of the Clark Howard Show on Talk Radio 850, coming to you from Coastal Federal Credit Union. Thanks to the credit union for being kind enough to host this. And we have a question right here at the credit union. Hi, what's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, Clark. My name is Ravi, originally from India, and now I'm here from Cary, locally from 15 years. It's truly an honor to see you in person and talk to you in person.
Thank you.
And I had a couple of quick questions. One was, is it a good idea to prepay the mortgage on the home, or is it good idea to keep it as a tax shelter? And second question was,
let me answer that first. I don't care so much about tax shelter angle on home mortgages. What's the interest rate on your mortgage?
4%.
4% straight up. You know, even though interest rates that you can earn right now are so depressed, that's why mortgages are so cheap too. I would rather see you not prepay a 4% mortgage and have flexibility to do other things with your money.
And the other quick question I had was, I have a rental property, and in last 4 years it was not rented just for a month. And is it a good idea to keep the property or just dispose
You
it
mean
off?
it's been empty almost the entire
No, it was empty only for 1 month out of 4 years.
And are you cash flow positive on the rental property?
Yeah, but just about $100.
And you like being a landlord or you hate being a landlord?
It doesn't bother me much either
If it
way.
doesn't bother you much, you keep being a landlord.
Okay.
I love being a landlord. I've been a landlord for 30 plus years. The first property I ever bought was a foreclosure that I bought for $36,000. And people pay that for a car now, right? And it's been a great, great investment, fully paid for now, just makes money. And that's what I want you to do, is I want you to come up with strategies, ways in your life that you take what you have and you make it grow for you. Thank you so much for joining me on this special live local edition of the Clark Howard Show. It's 3:59.